Hey guys, Hooked to Clash, and today I'm finally bringing you guys the Blizzard Lalo guide that you've all been asking for. Now, Blizzard Lalo is one of the strongest, if not the strongest attack in Legends League at the moment. It is very versatile, good on a wide range of bases, but it is very, very difficult to execute, and it takes time, and hopefully by the end of the video today, I've helped you kind of shorten the time that you need to master the army. Now, in terms of the video today, in terms of the content in it, we're going to focus on Blizzard Lalo on the four most common types of Legend League bases. That is ring bases, teaser bases, box bases, and diamond bases. And we're going to focus on how to blizzard and sui on each of them. We're not actually going to talk about the Lalo today at all. I've got a Lalo guide coming in about 1 to 2 weeks time. If that's already done by the time you're watching the video, you'll see it appear kind of right up here above me. So if you want to see that, go for that. But we're just going to focus on the blizzard and the sui, because I think this is the part that most people struggle with, because if you do a good blizzard and sui, the Lalo should mostly be cleanup. But yeah, we got a lot of things to get through, so we're going to start right here. Now, before we get started, there are 3 general rules for Blizzard Lalo that's going to apply to everything we talk about today. So rule number 1, the pet combo. Obviously, this is the pet combo you should go for. In fact, this is the pet combo that you should use for almost every single army in the game, so make sure that you're using it. Now, rule number 2, wherever you're going to send your blimp, make sure that a hound or a balloon has already kind of scouted the area for seeking air mines and tornadoes. For instance, if we want to get our blimp, say here, then we can use this air defense right here to send the hound like that. Then we send the blimp behind, so if there's any seeking air mines, the hound's going to pull them before it hits our blimp. Same sort of thing if we want to send a blimp here, then obviously we send a couple of Coco Loons through there so that we don't get baited. It's just simple. You don't want to get baited using this army because it's very hard to bring the attack back once something goes wrong. And the third thing, and this is very important, do not land a blimp on top of the bomb tower. Now, why is that? Well, if the bomb tower goes down, if it gets destroyed, then it blows up, and if our super wizards are touching the outside of that building, they're as good as dead. The giant bomb that is triggered by the destruction of the bomb tower does more damage than the super wizards have health, so do not land a blimp on top of a bomb tower. You can land it like nearby if you want, but never land it on top of a bomb tower. But that's it from the general rules, and let's get straight into ring bases. Ring bases, probably the most notorious base in all of Legends League, and definitely the most unpleasant to hit. Now, Rakira's makes these bases look so easy, but I know for fact they're not as easy as he makes it look. But thankfully for you guys, I've got a 9-step guide on how to take down these ring bases. Yes, I know it is a lot of steps, and it might be hard to follow, but by the end, you will definitely understand. I've kind of broken it up into really simple steps that you can definitely do, and hopefully by the end of it, you're 3-starring these really tough and really, easy to 1-star bases. So let's get straight into it. So the first step, and I will be honest, this is the toughest step of them all. So don't expect to get this first time, but as you do it more and more, it'll become easier and easier, obviously, with practice. So step number 1, do you believe that you can sui the town hall? Now, for this question, you have to make the assumption that the funnel is set. Now, what do I mean by that? So if we sui in from this side, we're just going to assume that, say, all of these buildings below on that side and all of these buildings here, all of them have been taken down. Trust me, you'll see why later, but just assume that all the flanking buildings are down. Now, the reason, by the way, that we're coming in from a side is you really want to sui in from a side on ring bases if you can. Sui in on a corner, queens kind of behave unpredictably around corners, so you'd much rather come in on a side than on a corner. So yeah, the real question is, do we believe that we can sui where this arrow is? Now, the 2 questions, the 2 kind of tests that you have to pass to get a yes is there too much damage, and do we have the accessibility? So the accessibility comes from, do we have enough super wall breakers and yaks essentially to get to the town hall? So if we come from this side, obviously, because there's not many trash buildings on the outside of the base, we can pretty reliably use the yak to beat this outer wall that's right here. We can definitely use the yak to beat that, and then we got 1 wall breaker here, one wall breaker here. So yes, we do have the chance to access the core. So we passed that test. The other test is there too much damage? And I don't think there's too much damage in here. There is a little bit of damage, but we can definitely get through it. The King's going to tank most of it. We can use a Headhunter for the RC if necessary. I think it's possible to get through that. So what we'll do, we'll put a cute little blue tick over here. And we're also going to put one over here because this base is kind of symmetrical from top right to bottom left. Because we can do it on the bottom left, we can also do it on the top right. Now let's go from the bottom right. So from this angle here, well, can we get to the Town Hall? Well, there's not too much damage there. There's only a few multis and some point defenses. So yes, we can get through on that. But can we access the core? Well, the answer has to be no, because even if we use the yak to beat this wall, then we wall break here, we still can't reach the Town Hall from there. We are 4 tiles back for our queen, and obviously the king can't shoot over wall. So no, we cannot get the Town Hall from this bottom right side. Now let's have a look at the top left side. So we'll put like a yellow cross there. The top left side, it's not symmetrical this way. Can we sui the Town Hall coming this way? Well, we can access it because we can use the yak to beat that wall, then wall break. But is there too much damage? And on this one, I actually think the answer is yes. Because on this Sui, we're going to have to fight the king. You really don't want to have to fight the king if you can help it. He has so many hit points. We have to fight a Grand Warden as well. There's probably a Tesla farm in here. Not that you can ever really know that, but it definitely looks like it on this base. Plus, there's a lot of builder huts in the core, which is going to be replenishing all the defenses. So, I think we could Sui the Town Hall, particularly if the funnels are set like that. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not as easy as the 2 blue ticks. So we're going to come in from one of the blue tick sides with our Sui. So that's step 1. Like I said, step 1, the most difficult of all. If you've bared with me so far, it gets to the easier part here and you'll understand what the hell I'm talking about. So step number 2 is what funnels do we need for that Sui? So we're going to zoom in on this bottom left side. What funnels do we need for this Sui? So if we were going to get our king and queen to get the Town Hall like that, we'd want... if that multi is up, it's not bad, but we want these buildings down, because if those buildings are down, it's very likely our king and queen go into the Town Hall, and we'd want the buildings on that side down. So that's step number 2, identifying the funnels you need. Step number 3, which side of these funnels can we blizzard and pull the CC? So, obviously, I've talked about this so much on the channel. When you do a blizzard, you need to pull the CC, because you'd much rather deal with the CC with either your Blizzard or your Queen on the outside of the base than pull it halfway through your Sui and your Queen is stuck on a Hound for 15 seconds and she ends up dying because your King is dead in the meantime. So, what is the CC range essentially? As you can tell, if we Blizzard this bottom funnel here, it's very likely we're going to pull the CC because there is a huge overlap there where our Super Wiz are going to be and where the CC is. So very likely. Now we could also pull the CC from this top side. If you land like the blimp here, as you can tell, we can kind of pull the CC. But it is a bit riskier, but also you can potentially get the eagle up here. So this is just risk versus reward, ultimately up to you and your confidence levels. You get more value coming from the top side, but you're less likely to pull the CC. Whereas the bottom side, you get less value, but you're more likely to pull the CC. I would come in from the bottom side, but I can see both ways. But for the sake of being safe with this, we're going to come in from the bottom side with our Blizzard. So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is to actually do the Blizzard. So we'll start the replay here. As you can tell, we use a Hound. I talked about this in the general rules. The Hound is going to tank for any seeking air mines and for the air defense on the way in. And we send the blimp right behind, slightly left of center, because I'd rather the blimp be slightly left. Just because we are more likely to get the Royal Champion, and then bam. Now, one thing I need to talk about, because this is the first style of base, is the actual, how you deploy the Blizzard, I guess is the best way of putting it. So I actually missed the good pause timing, but what you want to do is just before you're about to pop the blimp, put your invis down, where the blimp's going to be obviously, then deploy your blimp, wait half a second and put your rage spell down. So invis, blimp deploy, rage spell, always in that order. Just trust me on that one. And as you can tell, I kind of delayed the rage a little. You want the rage to go down as soon as your super wizards are about to shoot, and bam, we're off. And now it's just about nailing every invis from here and keeping as many buildings as shootable as possible. As you can tell with these invis, I'm not invising any buildings that are still up, which is perfect. And we didn't get the Royal Champion. As you can tell, she's walking the line of it. We take down her, and bam, we've gotten good value. We haven't pulled the Hound, but give it a second. There we go, we pulled the Hound. Now, a few of you might be going, Hooked, why didn't you use a 5th invis? This is the most critical rule on Blizz, for Blizz Laloing these ring bases, sorry. Never use more than 4 invis. You need that 5th invis for your Sui on the Town Hall. So only use 4. You can use 3 or 2 if you want, but never use more than 4. 4 and below. Trust me, it's saved me so many times. Yes, with our 5th invis here, we could have got the airbow, but also, as you can tell, my rage spell has run out, and that's generally what happens. Your rage spell runs out by the 5th invis. So the only reason you should ever use a 5th invis is if you're like going for the Town Hall, or if you're going to get some insane value that's literally, you know, makes or breaks the attack. So yeah, we only use 4 invis there. It does cost us getting the airbow, but I mean, it's just an airbow, guys. Trust me, the invis is so much more valuable on the Sui, because if the Sui doesn't get the Town Hall, it's over. It doesn't matter if you get that airbow or not, you need that invis. Now, step number 5 is to pull the clan castle. So this is why the archer is in my army comp. We're using the archer to pull the Hound out, and the queen's going to deal with it in a safe location. Look at that. There are no defenses on her, so at this point, we are absolutely chilling. Now, so obviously, we have cleared out, look at the value the Blizzard got, by the way. We've cleared out the bottom side of the value for the Sui. So the southern funnel has been successfully done. But how are we going to get the northern funnel done? Well, you will see that in just a second. I may have preempted it a bit too much, because the step number 6 is use the Barbarian King to beat the outer wall. On almost all ring bases, there's no trash, and this is very doable. As you can tell, the Barbarian King and the Yak go through the wall. And here's step number 7, and this one's really crucial. Use the RC and whatever cleanup you've got left, so not the minions, but the Baby Dragon, the Wizard, and the Sneaky Gobs, whatever funneling troops you have left, use them with your Royal Champion, and she's going to set the northern side of the funnel on this base. So you use the Blizzard for one side of the funnel, the Royal Champion for the other side of the funnel, and then the King and Queen with wall breakers to go for the Town Hall dive. Now, you might have noticed I deployed my Royal Champion all the way over here, and there's a reason for that, because look, the Lassie has actually caught up to the Royal Champion. They're both in line here, and the Lassie's much more likely to tank if I put the Royal Champion far from the base. If I placed them right here, the Royal Champion would tank every defense. But you'll see in a second, look at that. The Lassie is going to tank a second cannon and the Tesla. Now, as soon as this is all happening, there it is. There's our first wall break. We need to get down this wall breaker earlier than later. Now, unfortunately, I was hoping the air defense would be down before we put down our baby drag, but we needed this barracks down before the king went to it. Otherwise, the king would go on the outer layer. As you can tell, barracks goes down. We do lose our baby dragon, but the king comes into the second layer. Our Royal Champion's doing a great job. Look, she's going to get rid of this cannon here, and this is a huge cannon for our army, because look, now the king has to go into the next layer. We wall break to the core, and voila, we're in the core of the base, and we made it look pretty easy, honestly. There wasn't too many hiccups with it. Pretty safe Blizzard, pretty safe CC kill, and what is a very toxic, and this is a very toxic common Legends League base, has been made to look really easy. We're still hanging on to that invis if we need it. We can actually speed it up to 1 times, because I can imagine you all know what's going to happen here. The best part is we didn't even have to use a free spell. Now, if you need to use a free spell, that is worth it, but you'd much rather use an invis. So as soon as the queen targets the Town Hall, we use her ability, and then we use the invis after, and then from there, it's just Lalo time. I can confirm that I did triple this. This isn't actually an easy Lalo, so look, it's not an easy Lalo from here, but in terms of blizzarding and Sui for the Town Hall, we were very successful in that. So I will quickly go over all the rules in case you haven't, but you can always go back through the video. So, rule number 1, do you think you can Sui the Town Hall? Very important. Rule number 2, what funnels do you need for that Town Hall dive? So, what the north side and the south side, what buildings do we need down to make sure the king and queen can get the Town Hall? Number 3, can we pull the CC from one of those funnels and can we blizzard there? And obviously you want a blizzard where you can pull the CC. Step number 4, actually do that blizzard using a maximum of 4 invis spells. Rule number 5, pull the CC to a safe location and deal with it. Rule number 6, have the king beat the outer wall so that we can reach the Town Hall. Rule number 7, use the Royal Champion to set the funnel. And rule number 8, wall break to core, use your wall breakers, get it all done. And rule number 9 is Lalo the remainder of the base. So I hope that helped you guys with taking down ring bases. Obviously, it is a long step-by-step guide, but if you adhere to it, you will get more triples than not, and you shouldn't be getting any more frustrating 1-stars. However, if you still aren't convinced on this, let's see how it works live in Legends League. Okay, so a live attack here on a, this is kind of a ring base. It's more just an anti-2, but a similar sort of thing. So where do we think we can Sui the Town Hall from? Well, we've got to kind of pick a side. It's very hard to do this all quickly though, as I'm sure you're all aware. But I kind of like to Sui through this side here. So if we can't pull the CC if we funnel the top side, so we've got to pull the CC by funneling out this bottom side. So we send a Hound, and I kind of want to land this blimp to the left of this cannon in the area where there could be giant bombs. We're going to get a CC pull here. We might actually get a little bit of value too. So we pull the giant bombs that are there, and hopefully my super wizards start shooting. They do. And we're looking okay now. And look at that. Look at that value. We're going to get a really nice bit of value here for our Sui. Bam. We don't quite kill the super minions, but with the help of a loon here to take down this cannon, and then we can actually just poison them on the fly. As you can tell, they jump inside the poison. We're going to use the king to beat the outer wall. We can start a wizard over there. Oh, this guy's a bit of a troll. There's the next layer wall break. I'm actually worried the king still walks. Okay, we messed up the king. As you can tell, we just... Oh, no. This is going to be tough now. This is going to be tough. Because the only thing not taking damage at this point is my king. Hopefully he can tank the RC. He does. As you can tell, though, we did set a really good funnel for our queen here. She should get the Town Hall anyway. We pop her early, and bam, the Town Hall's down. Nice. That Sui, even though it was imperfect, it still worked out in the end. And now we're just going to Lalo from this way. Obviously, we didn't talk about Lalo in the video at all, but I'm Laloing this way to come from behind the sweeper. And then, bam. We Lalo to get our Hound in the water. Now that Hound will literally never die. But you guys will find out more about that in the Lalo guide when it eventually comes out in the year like 2043. My doorbell's going off downstairs. But still, looks really good. We have so many balloons up. We're making sure we get the cleanup down. But this was all from that Sui. So obviously, Suiing from this side, it looked difficult. There was a lot of damage in the way. But the most important thing is we got value from our Blizzard and pulled the CC. And even without getting the king in, we took out so much with our Royal Champion that it ultimately didn't matter in the end. This is a Worlds base for the record. This is not an easy base. The king's being a bit of a pain. We kind of need the king to go down. Don't tell me we time fail. Man, that would be really funny. I'm here talking about us tripling. No, we did get it in the end. But yeah, that's kind of a live attack for you all. I figured you guys wouldn't trust it if I just did it in an FC, so we did it in a live attack. Hopefully you guys got something out of that, and let's get on to the next style of base. Okay, so we're now onto the teaser base. Teaser base is one of the most popular style of Legends League bases, one of the more toxic ones. used to be really easy for Blizz Lalo, but these days base builders have caught up in terms of making them as tough as possible, not only for Blizz Lalo, but also Blizz Hydra, Blizz Dragons, Blizz whatever you're doing, really. So, there are two distinct ways to take down these bases, and we'll kind of explore both avenues, rather than kind of what we did with the ring base was just talk about how to sui for the town hall. But there's kind of two alternatives on this one. Now, there is also a third alternative, which is wardening your blimp and coming from the back side of the town hall. So essentially that would be, you know, maybe doing a mini Lalo over here or using your heroes over here, and then warden the blimp across the base to try and get everything behind the town hall. But I find more often than not these days, people bait that very, very well. Particularly because these clone attacks have got really strong. Baiting against clone and the blizzard's pretty similar. So I personally wouldn't recommend doing that. But let's get into the two ways here. And it's kind of summed up in my first real question that you should ask yourself when looking at a teaser base is, do you think you can safely blizzard the town hall whilst obviously also pulling the CC? We talked about that. You have to pull the CC each time. So do you think you can safely blizzard the town hall? Very different to a ring base where we're told not to at all. But if you can blizzard the town hall and pull the CC on a teaser base, you are setting yourself up for really good success. But you have to decide whether you can do it safely. So let's have a look at this base here. This is probably the most common base in all of Legends League at the moment. Do we think that we can safely blizz the town hall on this? Well, the two things you have, well, it's really three things now that you have to consider. It's, can we get a hound or a loon to tank? Yes, because if we put like a hound here or a hound here, this hound's obviously going to go to this air defense, this hound's going to go to this air defense, and we can kind of tank all the seeking air mines in the area with that or balloon. So it's definitely safe in terms of that. Are we safe from giant bombs? Yes and no on this one, because as you can tell, there are big gaps here where you're probably expecting two giant bombs in there. Now, if you land in the middle and trigger both simultaneously, you should be okay. Little bit of risk there, though. You never know. And the third thing you have to look at, well, aside from bomb towers, obviously, third thing is sweepers. And the sweepers make this simply unsafe. You can't do this blizzard. There's two sweepers. If there's one sweeper, you just freeze it. Absolutely worth it. But you can't get these two sweepers with one freeze, and it is not really worth using two freezers to just get one blimp in there. So simple to say this town hall is not safe to blizzard. Now, if it was safe to blizzard, I'll quickly just go through this because there are a lot of teaser bases where it's safe to blizzard the town hall and you get a CC pull. What you would do, let's assume with that blizzard that you kind of get, so let's assume you land here. You'd probably end up getting something like this value. Let's assume you get this, yeah? It's almost identical to the ring base sort of sui. In fact, it's basically the same. What we're going to do, we'll pull the CC out to an area and deal with it. Up here's a pretty good area. You could also do it over here and kind of queen walk all of this and then go in here. But yeah, that's essentially what it is. Use the blizzard as one side of the funnel, then try and send king and queen down the middle. So the best place would probably be into this compartment here, because we can get this multi and this scatter, and then use the RC to funnel the other side. Pretty simple, really, when you think about it. And then you Lalo what's left. And if you got that blizzard and that sui, this base is pretty crushed, I can tell you that for sure. So yeah, simple. Lure CC, king and queen down the middle, royal champion for the other funnel, voila, base is gone. However, if you can't safely blizzard the town hall, it does get a little more complicated. So let's see if we can kind of go through sort of the steps here. So if you can't safely blizzard the town hall, then we need to look for another blizzard on the base. Teaser bases are kind of interesting because some of the time you'll have multiple blizzard spots. So on this one, I think it's difficult, but you could look to try and land a blizzard here if you wanted, even here. Here, you get a CC pull from all of these locations and you get good value from all of them. But we don't set a very good funnel for the town hall because on any of those, the most we're sort of getting is something like this at the base. But it doesn't set up for a perfect town hall sui. It's still doable. You could come through like this sort of thing. Still doable. but it's not like, it's not perfect. It's not like we're guaranteed to get the Town Hall. So on this base, honestly, the best spot is this compartment. There are no giant bombs, so it's super safe. We get a CC pool, we get a multi scatter, but most importantly, look at, if we get all this value, something like that, then it's a really easy sui for the Town Hall like this. And this is the best thing I can tell you guys. So, if you're not blizzarding the Town Hall on these teaser style bases, blizzard a compartment as close as possible to the Town Hall to set up for the best possible Town Hall sui. Because on teaser bases, even compartments near the Town Hall will have lots of value. This is actually on the lower end of a teaser. This is closer to a diamond than most teaser bases are, honestly. I still consider it a teaser. But particularly those like really heavy teasers where literally like also the 2 scatters are near the Town Hall as well. The closer you blizz to the Town Hall, the more value that there is. And you just want to go for something safe. Because the risky part should be the sui on that, not the blizzard. So, as you can tell on this one, once we've decided where we're going to blizzard, it's just can we get our blimp to that location safely? And look at this, we've got an air defense here. Perfect. Means it's really easy for us to get our blimp there safely because all we got to do is get a hound to target that air defense. Now, obviously, if we're going to send the blimp into that compartment, we need to send the blimp like this. But if we send the hound like that, it's actually going to go to this air defense. So we have 2 real ways to deal with this. One, we can just use an invis on this air defense. It does cost us an invis, but you could just use an invis on this air defense and obviously the hound goes the right way. Or 2, as I'm going to demonstrate right here, this is just more simple, honestly. So we send a loon, and what we're trying to do is just, you know, make sure that the entire path of our blimp has been tanked for. So this loon is obviously tanking the initial part, and look where this hound goes. If there's any seeking air mines right where I'm drawing now, that hound has just pulled every single one of them. The loon's pulled the stuff the hound couldn't, so this is pretty safe at this point in time. Blimp gets in there, we pop the blimp, so yet again, invis, blimp, rage. There goes down the rage, just as the super wizards are shooting, so they get the effect of the rage. Now it's just about timing your invis. As I believe I said this with the ring-based one, but it's just all about practice with your timing. There's no real tips I can give you on that. Just keep practicing your craft, and you'll eventually get a feel for the timing on it all. I'm not taking any risks. Some of the time you can get a little close with dropping the invis, because the defenses don't instantly target, but I'm just being really safe on this one. We get the CC down, and look at this. The Gobs beat out, by the way. The Gobs versus Archers is something I haven't really talked about in this video yet. Ultimately up to you. I bring Gobs, some people bring Archers. There are advantages to both. I am going to do like an advanced Blizz Lalo guide at some point. This is kind of just like the basic sort of stuff. And how to take each style of base out. I'm going to do an advanced one at some point, and we can kind of talk about that, because that requires so much extra detail that I just don't have the time to talk about. We're already running long in this one. So Queen on the Hound. Queen takes the Hound down pretty easily. We're also using a Wizard because we need to funnel that side so that the Queen goes in, because on these teaser bases, you don't get as good a funnel on the outside as you do with those ring bases. But yeah, Queen takes that all out, and she's definitely going left now, as you can tell. There's no way she's running all the way over to the Siege Barracks. Siege Barracks? What is it? Is that what it's called? Who knows? The Workshop. That's what it's called. No way the Queen's running over to the Workshop there. So now it's just all about, well, how are we going to sui for the Town Hall? So we use the 2 sneaky Gobs to get that gold storage. Now, thankfully, as you can tell, we don't have to use our yak to beat the outer wall here, because there's only 2 wall breaks needed to the Town Hall. We've got both the wall breakers. Generally on teaser bases, you can wall break to the Town Hall. You don't need to use your yak, because if the Town Hall is 3 walls deep, then it's not really a teaser base in the end. So we wall break again. King's going nicely. We use a loon there to tank the single. Super nice for us. Now, the single locks onto our king. A lot of you will be like, well, use the invis. I say no. I'd rather use the freeze here, because if we just use an invis, the single's just going to target something else. Pop the king ability so that if the single targets again, we're using the royal champion yet again to funnel. As soon as the queen's on the Town Hall, we pop her immediately, because there's no point you want that Town Hall down as quickly as possible. It's doing so much damage, but on top of that, she needs as much health as possible when she's going to deal with the Town Hall Poison. We snuck a Headhunter in there, going to take down the Queen. Our RC's still got our ability, by the way. The Barbs are tanking the single perfectly, and we are looking so good here. RC gets the single. RC gets all that. Actually, Invis at a pretty bad time here. So we nearly missed the sweeper, but pop the RC ability, and look at how much base is gone. And I'm actually starting the Lalo. For the record, I do triple the base in the next 46 seconds. That's how much of the base we've gone down. Now, one tip with teaser bases. On this specific teaser base, it made sense to bring the Royal Champion with the King and Queen. Because A, I did need to funnel this stuff out so that the King and Queen went in. But B, she also got additional value. However, most teaser bases will have, like, this wall that's here won't be there. And the teaser base will just be one big open compartment. And if you don't need the Royal Champion to funnel the King and Queen, use her with the Lalo. Don't use her with the Sui, because generally there's so much damage around the Town Hall area where you're Suiing that using the RC, she's just going to die quickly. Yes, she'll get a couple of defenses, but she won't get as much as she would have gotten with the Lalo. On this base, it makes sense, because it's slightly less hardcore of a teaser, but on most teasers, save the Royal, when you're Suiing the Town Hall, save the Royal Champion for the Lalo, because she's so strong with that. But yeah, as you can tell, so much of this base is gone. The Lalo works in 48 seconds. Now, I don't actually have a replay of a teaser base for you all. I didn't run into a teaser base in Legends. I tried my best. But I think this one was a bit more clear-cut, and I think people had less trouble with this one. But yeah, let me know, obviously, down in the comments below. And now, normally I would have moved on to the next style of base, but this video has actually run extremely long already. I'm sorry I've gone into so much detail. Hopefully I haven't bored you. I'm just trying to convey as much information as possible. So we're going to do this in two parts. So part one, today we had the ring base and the teaser base, which are two pretty similar sort of methods. You've seen basically the exact same thing done twice, just with one difference, which is where you blizzard. Tomorrow, we'll focus on diamond bases and box bases, and those two have pretty similar ways to take them down as well. But yeah, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed the Blizzard Lalo guide. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I really want to see if I can answer as many of your questions as possible in as much depth, but hopefully I answered it in this pretty comprehensive guide. That's it from me. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you soon.